Oh, it was the Christmas party. Barriers were down. And, you know, we had the poking and the prodding, and there was all of that,
Gross.
which was pretty awful, but that still goes on today.
Yeah, but that doesn't excuse it.
No, but did you know if you say too much, people say, oh, yes, but how much did you have to drink?
Oh, I know.
You know, so you're better off just shutting up.
But that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That you have to.
Yeah.
I was out in a clinic and the surgeon tried to grope me, and my bosses said to me, what were you wearing?
Yes, there you go.
What? It's my fault.
I just thought, I need to get rid of those. It was much more accessible to have things done. And so I started having tweaks.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
That as you climb those runs and you get up the ladder, it becomes less of a mystery, and you get to know yourself better.
That's very
and
true.
what motivates you and what doesn't. And I think you can start to focus your life and go in the directions you want.
Because skin isn't just skin. It's your story. And I'm here for it. I'm Kelly Sainer. Are you ready for some barefaced chat? Right, this is Kerris. Kerris, do you get called Kerris?
Yes, all my life. Crease. Crease.
Kerris. So you deliberately say Kerris, don't you?
Kerris. When I was younger, it used to bother me, but I don't.
It's what it is now, right?
Yeah, I just let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride. I think that's the best thing. But today's guest is someone that I've known for years. And from the very first time that we met, there was just something that connected us, which we've always said.
Yes.
We now even go out socially, which is very rare for me and my patients. So we've transcended that, I think.
We have.
One of those instant connections that we got from the very first meeting. I know it evolved, but I think we did have a spark when we met. And
yes.
For women, not very many people admit that or recognise it, because there's judgment before, and we didn't. And it's testament to you. But you are absolutely the definition of a woman who's lived. And anybody that's listening here will be let into a lot when you hear from Kerris today. She has just had the most textured life, and I think that a lot of people listening will really resonate with that. But let me talk to you about what she's done. So you were born in Kent in the early 60s and navigated life with your dad, traveling the world, and your mum doing what was expected of her, but bringing a family up with a quiet independence. She was shy, so you were really shy. You describe yourself as shy and quite reserved, but are you?
Not now, no.
Okay.
Going to work knocked the edges off all of that.
And you worked in a very male-dominated environment, didn't you? So we're going to talk about that. But one thing she does say about herself is, even stood by the teacher's desk for a whole week at the school, she didn't feel confident enough to join in, which I just thought was lovely.
Yeah, I mean, that to me was normal. But
wow.
yeah, I quickly realised as I went through my life that probably not many kids did that.
No.
And now, with all that goes on, I'd probably have been sent to a psychologist or something.
Yeah. If they thought that that's who you were. But knowing you now, it's impossible to think that's who you were.
Yeah, I was incredibly shy and I always felt that I couldn't do what everybody around me was doing.
Right.
And I don't know why I didn't. I think it was just people watching me. I couldn't cope with that either.
Yeah, which is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you obviously grew up and felt different, and you went from being a legal secretary to witnessing things like raw realities through a criminal and matrimonial law, you said, and a fast-paced world of advertising. You went into that, climbing your way to sales director, so a far cry from the very shy girl that you were stood by the desk. Navigating boardrooms. She was doing networking before LinkedIn was even a thing.
Yes.
Which I think is brilliant.
In fact, when my boss sent me the instruction, I want you to put yourself a profile on LinkedIn, I just thought, oh, God, how tedious. Have I got to do that? That was a nightmare, because everybody, the industry that I worked in, helping people and coaching people to change career, everybody that wanted to change their job wanted to network with me, to the point that I struggled to find the time to get on with my job.
Wow.
It was, that was hard. Because I had the juxtaposition of my boss telling me I had to do this thing, and I felt like I was being used as a doorway to They thought that I was so well networked with the HRDs in the local industry that they wanted to use me as a conduit to get to them.
I mean, there's different...
Which I understand. I would do the same, but when it's happening to you over and over and over again. So LinkedIn, when people say to me LinkedIn, I just I think, oh no, not.
Yeah. Bore off.
Yeah.
Basically. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that you obviously navigated quite a lot in a really male-dominated world, and I think that's a testament to who you are today. So from you've had a real evolution as a human, really.
Yeah, it toughened me up.
Yeah, I mean,
because we're talking about things have changed massively for women and girls now. I'm pleased to say, and still lots more to do and changes to make. But I came through in an era when I do recall somebody I knew went for an interview to work on a reception in a city, at a nice reception area. And because she didn't want to wear high heels, they wouldn't give her the job. You know, things have moved on, and I don't want to comment further on that, but you hear what I'm saying.
100%. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You've worked in a very male-dominated world and handled sexism. We've even talked about this, but with both grit and humour, because we've both laughed about this before. And you made your point by driving off in a BM, which I absolutely love. You're now retired and living in a rural farmhouse in Cheshire, surrounded by animals' wellies. But you are definitely a woman in my eyes who've earned your stripes. You absolutely have. Like, you've been my patient for almost probably nearly more than a decade now,
yeah, I couldn't recall that. I knew it must have been 10 years or more.
Easily 10 years. Easily, well, we've been here 11.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it must have been, what, 12 or 13?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I saw it with the Regency. And one thing that stands out is your tweakments.
Oh, yes.
You have tweakments.
Have to be tweaked. Can't do anything too much.
Too much. But I love that about you. And I've even used that in other consultations. Yeah. Just a little tweak.
Yeah, I think a regular tweak just makes you feel good, and it's not too much of a change all at once.
Absolutely. Keeps you looking natural. Good. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's the right way forward, and that's how I treat. So it's really embodies what we say. But you really do. You are the epitome of somebody that just looks after themselves. You are always colour coordinated. You are always. I always comment on that. That is your thing.
Yeah.
But you are just a very, very interesting person. And I just want to get into that and ask you questions about you, your life, where you are now. Let's talk women. Let's talk modern day. Let's take it back. Sexism was a big thing. The Me Too movement. Yeah. Being a woman today. Being a woman of, how old are you again?
65 soon, very soon.
She looks insane.
Yeah, I kind of don't know where it's all gone, really. It looks, I mean...
I was going to say 50.
Yeah, well, I'd love to be 50 again. I mean, inside, I'm well aware that I've aged a lot, because I've always had this thing when I get up. My mum's queried this with me, even when I retired. I get up and I think, right, today I'm going to do this and this in the morning and this in the afternoon. And I did it. And now I do this and this in the morning, and I kind of get through most of this in the afternoon. Yeah. And then I think, I just can't manage that last bit. And I do get quite annoyed because I'm aware that inside, you know, it's wearing away. It's just, I'm just running out of energy. But I have to be grateful that I am in the condition I'm in. I mean, I'm still very active. And I've got to be grateful for that, because I've got friends that are a lot younger than me, and physically they are struggling to be as mobile as I am.
Wow. Well, you've kept it going with horse riding and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Horse riding is my thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I think everybody has a sport or an interest or something. It doesn't have to be active or outdoors. And I would always describe it as I have this little pilot light in me, And if I haven't been around horses or been riding for whatever reason, the pilot light is gradually going out.
I love a good analogy.
And when I've ridden, that pilot light is right back up again.
Really?
And it completely makes me feel different inside. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't tell you. And I have been reminded of that recently because I didn't ride a horse that I'd been riding for years, beautiful schoolmaster horse, got to the point where he had to be retired. And I really missed riding him.
Right.
So I didn't do that much riding for 2 or 3 months because it was winter as well. I have another friend, a horse trainer, who has various different types of horses that I go to regularly. So I started going there just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did
and
you?
we started it back up again.
Oh, cool.
And I said to her, my little pilot lights come back up. And she said, I know exactly what you mean.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think anybody that has that in their life are lucky and, they find that thing for them. It might be,
nice.
But for a lot of people, I'm aware it's golf.
Yeah,
and that's how they describe
That's
it.
very true, actually.
Yeah.
Well, if that doesn't introduce her, then, everybody, here is Kerris. Welcome to Barefaced Chat.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. I mean, I'm so pleased. I said to you when we first started this, when you come on, you were like, go on then. And you're here. We are like 27, maybe 28 episodes in. Yeah, we've done a lot. We've heard a lot and listened to a lot, and I feel so super grateful that I get to speak to my favorite people. But let's start with you then in your early life, and let everybody listening, understand a bit more about you and where you and how you got to where you are now. So you described yourself as quite shy when you were growing up. How do you go from that to you now?
Yeah, sometimes I think that. I mean, I'm so glad that I'm not the shy person that I was. I am aware that I'm probably more the opposite way now because people in the past have said, oh, God, you're confident. But that has evolved very, very gradually through my life. I've had some very difficult times where I've felt awkward. But I think when you start work, you've just got to grapple with it and get on with it.
Do you think confidence and shy are the same thing then, or not? I'm not sure I do.
For me, it was. I mean, everything I've had a go at, I've managed to do. Not saying well, but I've managed it. And that is what keeps the self-doubt away now. Yeah. Because if every now and then I have to do something, whether it's a small thing or a big thing in my life, and I think, oh, can I do that? And I always say to myself, Kerris, everything you've tried to do or you've been asked to do or you had to do throughout your life, you've never really completely messed something up. You have achieved it in some way, shape or form. And it's that mantra that I run through in my head that thinks, go on, you goof. If they can do it. See, I always had this idea. I used to see people around me and I used to think, they're better than me. I couldn't do that. Look at how complicated that they're doing. I can't do that. And I've had to overcome that. Wow. My mum was quite shy. And when I look back, she's the same. And now I try to give confidence to her because she's done various things in her life. Just things like dog training, cake decorating, crafting, because she's been at home most of her life, not having a career, and everything she's had a go at, she's really excelled at, but she can't see it
at all.
No. Well, if she does, she certainly doesn't share it.
No, doesn't tell you about it.
No.
So how have you? Because I think have you grown up sort of giving less shits about stuff, or has it been sort of? Did you recognise that? Because when you are inherently shy,
yes,
you can sometimes grow up being inherently shy.
Yes,
you haven't done that.
No, and I can't really tell you why that is. I've always been, even when I was little, I've been told that I was quite determined.
That's it.
If I wanted to do something, I have been determined. Yeah. So I suppose you could say I've made myself do things that I didn't want to have to do. And I have been persuaded to do. If I've been asked to take on a role or go for promotion, I've never said, oh, well, I'll go for that, or I'll apply for that. I think I could do that. It's always been somebody has said to me, why don't you?
Okay.
I think you'd be good at it. And that's where it started. So I suppose it's people
seeing in you,
yes,
that has given you this
that
boost.
Eventually you start to actually absorb it and say that, okay, all these people are saying you could do it and you should do it.
Yeah.
Why don't you have a go? Because I think also when you're younger, everything's all very serious. You're at the bottom of the ladder of life, aren't you? And you've got all those rungs to go up.
So true.
And you don't know which way they're going to go in every respect. And it's a lot of pressure on you as a person, anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think that as you climb those runs and you get up the ladder, it becomes less of a mystery and you get to know yourself better.
That's very
and
true.
what motivates you and what doesn't. And I think you can start to focus your life and go in the directions you want. I mean, I come across some people. I was out with a friend a few weeks ago and this young lad was serving us, very articulate, confident and chatty.
Yeah.
Knew exactly what he wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
And I thought, my God, that must be amazing to feel like that at that age. I never had that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know what percentage of people do.
More than you think. I think more than you think. But what I find really fascinating about you speaking is that nowadays we live with that constant self-doubt. And it's only if we get told, like you said, but quite often even if we get told, it's so innate, the self-doubt and the negative talk, that you need somebody to really see you. And you have had people that have been able to see it, but that's because the testament of your determination has shined through despite you're shy or you've lack of confidence, whatever, because it's made you do things outside of your comfort zone. And not everybody's got the ability to do that. So you either brought up really well or there was something else at play, because
I think my mum's strong. And one of the things I'm internally grateful for is that I grew up and had my young life pre the internet, computers, social media platforms, because the shyness that I had in my life would have been exacerbated tenfold if everything had been laid to bear. All that you hear that goes on in schools and between kids, I feel sorry for them now, and I can't imagine what I would have felt like and how I would possibly have coped. So that's one thing I am completely grateful for.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And I think having lived on both sides, we both have no phone.
Yeah.
To phone.
Yeah.
Thank God you could get away and have to call your friends or meet them at the bus stop. If you're going to meet them at the bus stop.
I felt I was more independent, because now if I go out and suddenly I think, oh, I haven't got my phone, I'm thinking, shall I go back and get it?
Same.
And for God's sake, Kerris, you're only going into town.
Yeah.
What do you need? I used to drive all over the place, going to see clients, and I didn't have a mobile with me. I mean, the first thing we were given with is Blackberries.
Yeah, do you remember? I started with Blackberry. Yeah,
but I mean, why I got the first sort of brick phone, if you will, was I was going after work. I was loading up my horse in my trailer, and I was driving all the way up to Preston to go and compete, and back again. I'd get back at midnight. I'd get in bed at 2 a.m, and then I'd be up going to work the next day. Yeah. No phone.
Yeah. Yay. I mean, you survived,
up the M6 with a horse in the back. No phone.
Yeah.
If somebody paid me serious money now, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. So it does alter your whole mindset of independence when you've constantly got your phone with you.
Yeah, 100%. It's safety, but then that's what we're taught.
Yeah.
But you'd actually be quite stranded now.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, in those days, there were phones everywhere. There were
was.
phones up the motorway. Those, were there grey boxes, were there?
Yeah.
And then you had the red phones everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was a bit different.
But I suppose they don't have those anymore, do they?
No. No.
I don't even think you've got... do you have phone boxes? Like
Well,
in the
they're
street?
libraries now, aren't they?
Oh, really?
Defibrillators and libraries.
Oh, well, they are.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I wouldn't know where the
People
nearest
buy
one
them and
was.
collect them now, don't they? Put them in the gardens.
Yeah.
Because
So true.
Roger's under strict
old-fashioned.
instructions not to buy one.
Oh, really?
No, I don't. I
Not
don't know.
keen.
It was.
No.
It's just no.
I 100% get that. It's like having a cone in the back garden or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no.
So don't get one of those.
Don't do it. I mean, that's a really interesting take, but you had a lot of movement in your family, didn't you? Your dad travelled a lot. I think that had got a lot to you mentioned your mum before and her independence, and was she a stoic? Was she always like you were always?
Well, my mum, poor thing. I mean, when I look back, Dad worked away, and he would work in Lebanon, Iran. This is the 60s, India. And so she was on her own a lot, very, very close to her mum and dad, and they moved to be near. So they were 15-minute walk away, I would imagine, really. And we saw them practically every day. Mm. Then when my grandma was in her early 60s, she went into hospital for a very routine operation. I think it was something like a gallstone. And she had bronchitis and pneumonia. And something went wrong. God. And she died. And my mum was devastated beyond comprehension because she got 2 young kids. I was 5, 6. God. My brother was like 12 months old, something like that. She was absolutely devastated. And I think once she kind of picked herself up from that, I think that made her tough.
Yeah.
So she is quite tough, Mum, really. When I look back, I mean, she's followed my dad all over. Yeah. I mean, I mentioned in the notes that I gave you before today that I felt sorry for her because they went to America when I was 28 and that was a big decision. Massive. And they came to us and said, what do you think, guys? And of course, you're not going to say, oh, no stay near us because we like that. I didn't want to be. Because they've got their life to lead. They've already made all their sacrifices bringing us up. And I said, no, you must go if you want to go because it's a super job for Dad. Mum, I think, went out of a loyalty to him.
Did she not really?
And because I think she didn't, because she had a sort of a part-time job just to get her out, really. Mm. And she thoroughly enjoyed it. And she used to come back some days telling us the stories. And, she has a huge sense of humour. Yeah. And she really struggled to move out there and she had no friends. Yeah. It was hard, and not seeing her kids who she was close to. Yeah, tough. It was hard. And I used to go out and see them a hell of a lot. I mean, it gave me a sort of a new outlet to life. Absolutely. Because I'd go at least twice a year to go and visit. And they had a nice house because you could get so much more house for your money. Yeah. They had a house with a sort of an acre of garden and a swimming pool and that was lovely. And Dad had a really good job and they were lovely days, and again they were pre-internet, pre-online shopping. So the shops over there were amazing, and they sold stuff that they just didn't have here.
I love that.
And
what a novelty to be able to go
you
over
won't
there.
believe me, but this is God's truth. So I used to go out there with a suitcase, and you'd come back with a suitcase, no limit on size or weight. There was no health and safety for the poor guys.
An additional suitcase.
And an additional box. I used to bring a box full of stuff. And there was no limit on size, weight, nothing. No.
So you just used to fill your boots.
And Mum and Dad would come to the gate at you wait at Newark Airport, I think it was then, or before then it was JFK. And you'd wait, and they'd come and sit right at the gate when you go on the air bridge, right at the edge of the air bridge, and they'd be waving me off down the air bridge because, and you'd rock on with your vanity case with all your stuff, and you'd put it down by your feet,
It
was
wasn't like
another world. It was amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was. The
Amazing.
security
You
was
know,
totally
metal
different.
cutlery, glasses, people smoking.
Yes. God, I watched it. I watched a series called Pan Am, and it's very similar, you know, like that, because it was set back in the day, and the security was completely different. You know, you could get on and off, and it was amazing. But
I mean, nowadays you probably wouldn't actually want to get on that aircraft because you're right. You've just said it yourself. No security.
No.
But we didn't think about it.
Of course, it wasn't like that though. Like the same with smoking. We didn't know the dangers of it really. When they went then, even though that was really exciting, deep down, if you can say it now, were you a bit gutted?
Oh, yes.
Massively gutted.
For 3 months, I felt bereft.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had my little house, my first little house I'd bought.
Yeah.
And Dad, bless him, he used to do a day's work and then he'd come up for about, 3 or 4 weeks. He used to come up every night and we would do the house up. And it was lovely. You know, it was only a little terraced house, but it was lovely inside, made it very girly. You know.
I love that, yeah.
Really. I used to walk round to their house because it wasn't too far away. And we'd like go for lunch, Mum and I, on a Saturday. So I missed it dreadfully.
Where was your brother at this point?
He left home when he was 18 and went down to London.
Okay.
Much to my mother's upset, because I remember we drove down there to settle him in, and he was renting a flat in London with 2 guys, had a room, but they were guys, you know.
Yeah.
And she gets there. He's got a mattress on the floor. That's his, you know, I mean, obviously improved it. And she went in and she took some rubber gloves and some bleach down, you know, and the toilet was brown. So she cleaned all that and cleaned their sink in the kitchen. I mean, the other 2 guys must have said, oh, bring your mum down again. And I remember in the car driving back, she was sobbing her heart out.
Oh.
And she kept sending him food parcels. And then one day he said, Mum, don't send any more food parcels. He said, I only eat fresh food. I don't eat all that stuff you're sending. Well, that was she was pleased on one hand, but it was a bit of a...
kick in the teeth, wasn't it?
Kick in the teeth, yes, exactly.
Thank you, but no thank you. Okay, well, were you close to Rick at that point? Like, did you go down to see him?
We've always been close. Yeah. In fact, it sounds ridiculous now, but I went down to London to see him because he's done very well in his career. You know, he's always stayed very focused, and so his life improved quite quickly. Yeah. And I remember we were sat on a bench outside the Natural History Museum.
Right.
He was about 20.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we said, we're orphans. Jokingly.
Yeah.
But... I mean, we both hated it, really.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But they're still there now, aren't they, your mum and dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were just a couple of spoiled brats when I look back, really.
Yeah.
You know.
They were, you were adults, they were living their lives.
Yeah.
But even still, I think I'd still find that tricky. I think most people would. And at 20, even though you're an adult, 28 and 20, you know, you're still young, aren't you?
Oh, when I look back,
dead young.
I mean, some of the choices and decisions I made when I was in my 20s, I think... You didn't really think that through, did you? You know, the consequences, you didn't really think that through.
I think most people would feel the same way.
And selfish as well, you know, to other people around you.
You know nothing else. You're allowed to be.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the one time in your life you're probably allowed to be quite self-centered because you're not quite an adult yet. So if you're going to put yourself first at any time, it's probably the time to do it. I keep saying this to Ollie. So you started as a legal secretary and you... were sort of exposed to the reality of that world early on. So I know you moved into the more marketing sales side of things, but what made you pivot from that to sort of marketing sales stuff? Or did that give you the sort of beginning?
I really wanted to go to art design college because that's what I loved doing, all things arty. And it was partly my fault. I didn't really research what sort of jobs I could have done.
Right, okay.
I suppose that's one advantage. If I'd have had the internet, maybe I would have done that, but still, I didn't. And Dad said, oh, you won't make a living out of that. Why don't you learn to type and do shorthand? That'll be a good career for a girl.
Oh, my gosh, right.
So, I can't, you know, I did.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I I don't know why I joined a legal firm. I was just floating around, not knowing what I wanted to do. The job came up, I took it. But looking back, I actually think that really gave me the resilience, the armour in life to soldier on and get on with it and do things you wanted and carve out something for yourself that made you happy. Because in the early days, I'd be doing basic things like typing up statements. And because we did criminal work, I saw photographs of stuff that not many 18... Well, they do. I say not many. They see it on the internet now. In those days, you didn't see anything like that. And some of the stories that you were hearing about and things people did. And it was quite a shock because I'd lived quite a privileged, sheltered life. But it did me good. I mean, I had to go to Strangeways prison. I mean, you wouldn't be allowed as a legal secretary now. You've got to be an article clerk. But if you got experience in the legal profession in those days, gradually you had, go to court.
Wow.
Go to county court because, doing injunctions. So there was the criminal aspect that I had an insight into. But the other side of it, which is very prevalent now and very spoken about. It's out there on the news every day. There's something. And that is the way that women are coerced, domestic abuse.
Massive.
I saw that firsthand. And some of the photographs, some of the women, the treatment they had, men coming home from the pub, very, very drunk and violent, some of the things they did to them, I still think about now. And I saw all of that as well. So that made me very hard-hearted about the men in my life that I wanted in my life.
Oh, interesting what you say.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And even now, if I'm out and about, sometimes I see people out or talk to people and the warning signs are glaring out at me. And I want to say something to them because they can't see it and somehow I can, but maybe that's what I was exposed to.
Yeah, so obviously you were aware of it.
I saw stuff and was involved in stuff on a daily basis that most young girls, and through, to being in my late 20s. And then I got to the point where I thought, all I'm seeing are the dark side of life. And I want to see the nice side and the fun side of life. I thought, I never want to see another charge sheet in my life. And then I just had a complete turnaround and went to work in Manchester for an ad agency.
What?
Which I loved.
Did you love it?
It was brilliant.
Was that your best job?
No, I think my last job was my best job. And maybe once I got into sales and marketing, the marketing job was great fun, but I did enjoy the sales side of things. I remember we had an account. I mean, can I talk about these accounts now? Because they probably don't exist. There was an account that my boss had called Trutex, and they did school uniforms.
Yeah, I remember.
Are they still going? Probably not.
I don't know, but I remember Trutex.
So we had to produce the magazine. And Stanley was called, bless him, he won't still be with us now. I mean, he was probably in his late 50s then. And he had a great sense of humour and he used to put his head in his hands and go, "Oh, Kerris, we've got to do the auditions for the Trutex. Oh, the parents are the worst. The kids are okay." And the stories he would tell about previous shoots. I mean, one time there was almost a punch-up with over-exuberant parents wanting to push because their child wasn't in that shoot and somebody else's was. And you can imagine. I mean, because some of them were quite little.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because again, it was an actual magazine that was produced.
Yeah, physical magazine. A
physical
absolutely.
Magazine. Yes, it wasn't online. But we had some good fun
times. Which is the bit you remember. I remember being at the Harley Med and having the most fun at work. It was just the best, non-defining days, but nevertheless the heydays.
You have to have fun. I know it's quashed a little bit nowadays because everything's all very serious and compared to how it was, I think. Maybe that's just my view.
I get what you're saying.
But I still think it's important to have fun.
Yeah, I agree. Well, your workplace is the place that you are.
Yes.
You live and breathe there. You're there more than you're at home quite often.
And I think that's very much determined by your overall boss. If they have a propensity to want to sort of loosen the boundaries and let people have a bit of fun, let their hair down, as long as it's responsibly. But then others just won't have that. No. The boundaries are defined and day in, day out, it has to be that way. And that must be tough for people who work in that environment.
100%. When the girls went over to Audley Park, Louise brought in the verbal fasting. Did I tell you about this?
No.
So the girls were getting quite annoyed because when they used to come upstairs, it was a blah, 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 for like the first half an hour. She was like, okay, guys, we need to just like, we're going to be in a smaller office. We all just need to get on with the work, and then you can have your breaks out there. So you can imagine, can't you? When you've been told to verbal fast, all you want to do is talk. You don't want to stop speaking. So she was trying to get them into a new culture that they would go outside to the breaker rooms to chat, but in the office, they would stay quiet. But I'm renowned for being the pranky one and the fun one, even though it's my business, because I think that you are at work more than you are at home. So the fun for me is part of the reason why you come to work.
Definitely, yes. And if you're told you can't speak, your eyes start lighting up. Everybody's looking at each other, and it's amazing how much you can communicate with your eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really funny. We just talked about going on a retreat, actually, haven't we? A silent retreat. And Sam had done a silent retreat for 7 days.
Really?
Silent.
Really?
No eye contact. Can you imagine me and you?
I think I'd struggle with that.
I think I would struggle with that. But he said it was amazing for like inner work and self-healing, which is something that I would do it for. Anyway, let's get back to it. We digress. So what I wanted to talk about as well with you actually was you mentioned the sexism. We kind of talked about it a little bit in the room, but I think it was really prevalent.
Yes, it was. And it was acceptable. And if you complained, there was a chance you probably would lose your job. Not in a direct way, but people would start to single you out and make your life difficult. And I saw that again and again and again, which is why I just donned my armour and thought, right, I'm just going to play the game.
Yeah, good for
and
you.
Which is what I did. I had to play the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. Did you ever experience any very negative sexism?
Oh, just
or was it just banter?
I mean, not just at work. I mean, I had a really nice BMW at one point. This is before I got my company car.
Yeah.
And I was standing at the forecourt very early one morning, filling up before I went to see my client. I had a really lovely suit on. I was filling up, kind of just thinking about my meeting and what we were going to achieve and blah, 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 blah. And suddenly I was aware of this guy. So, when you feel you're being watched, and I turn around, there's this very just ordinary chap filling up his black Mondeo.
Yeah.
And he waited till I put the nozzle back in. And then he leans to because we were next to each other on the thing, and he looked at me and looked at my car, and he said, "Rich husband." Well, I was quite taken back. So I looked him, I stood back and I thought, right. So I looked him up and down, and I looked at his car and I said, "No, just a really good job, actually. Probably a lot better than yours looking at that." And I just marched into the petrol station, and his face was a picture.
Oh my gosh, I bet it was.
And it was just my little victories.
Oh,
I mean, he probably got in his car and had some very derogatory things to mumble to himself, and maybe he might have mentioned it to the odd mate later that day. But I just felt I had my moment.
Good for you.
And I had things like I was at work one day and I was just sorting something out at the photocopier because, people didn't have personal secretaries. That had gone.
Yeah.
And I was sorting something out, and it was sort of lunchtime-ish. and this guy comes marching out of the glass sort of boardroom that was in the middle, and he goes, "Excuse me, can we have some coffee in here?"
Oh my God.
I mean, I'd got a suit on because the days, you went to see a client, you were suited and booted. And so
That is unbelievable.
And I thought, well, I can't be rude because it's a client. So I shouted back up the office, "Yes, when I find one of the secretaries, I'll get her to make you some." So his face dropped and he came over. "I'm so sorry." So I said, "Oh, can I introduce myself? I'm a sales director for the North." And he said, I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay, I understand. But that happens so many times.
I bet, yeah.
And I just thought, if I would have been a man standing there in a business suit, that would never have happened.
Never.
And it was just, it's no point getting irate about it. It just was life.
Yeah, that is what it is.
It just was life. And then I had lots of other things that happened that were perhaps slightly less,
tolerable.
Yeah, like a Christmas. I think some men felt it was the Christmas party. Barriers were down, and we had the poking and the prodding, and there was all of that, which was pretty awful. But that still goes on today.
Yeah, but that doesn't excuse it.
No, but did you know if you say too much, people say, "Oh yes, but how much did you have to drink?"
Oh, I know.
So you're better off just shutting up.
But that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you have to.
Yeah.
I remember there was a surgeon when I was working, and I had a really good job. After Harley Med, I went to work for a company called, I won't mention the names.
No,
in case it gets me in trouble. And I was out in a clinic, and the surgeon tried to grope me, and my bosses said to me, what were you wearing?
Yes, there you go.
And I was like, really? What's it got? What? It's my fault. Well, sometimes I don't know. What did you have on?
Yeah.
I was afraid to speak up.
Yeah, because I learned that, as I said, there were a few people who were very good at their job. They were at a higher level than I was. I could see that. They thought differently. They'd had a different education, and they were driven. And they didn't handle the sexism at all.
No.
And they fought back. And they all lost their jobs eventually. It might have taken a year, but they went.
Yeah.
And their life became miserable. Yeah, their lives became miserable because they were targeted going forward. And you could never prove it. They couldn't prove it. It was done in a very, very clever, subtle way.
Yeah, I bet.
But it happened. So that's why I said I played the game. And I could see it very easily because once or twice people said to me, "Oh, you're a good laugh, you muck in."
Right, I see what it's read between the lines, Kerris.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wowza.
But you have to do what you have to do.
You do.
I'm not just saying it's all women. I mean, men are exposed to that and they experience that as well. I'm aware of that. But in those days, it was predominantly women that were on the receiving end of it.
No, I agree. And that unfortunately, because where you were and the jobs that you were in were heavily dominated by men. Which is still bad, but it is what it is. But it gave you everything that you are today, I believe. So for anyone that's listening that's been through that and has listened to your story thus far, you've really turned things around by this point in your life.
Yes.
Your mum and dad, you don't have the support system of your parents right there. You're doing it on your own. Had you met anybody at this point?
Yes,
You've got
my life's been in two halves really insofar as that's concerned. So when I was in my early 20s, I met a lawyer, a trial lawyer, and we were together pretty much for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and we lived together and we had quite an extraordinary life, actually.
I think I did know this.
We had an extraordinary life. I mean, he had some extraordinary clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Biggies?
Yeah, I do recall one time, we had an all-expense trip to Spain, Puerto Banús, And it was for him to go and take some statements and give some advice and get involved in helping. I don't feel he probably lived a life that most people feel is normal or legal. But we called at we were invited initially to go for lunch, and said, "Oh, come to the villa." It was extraordinary.
Really?
Yes. Utterly extraordinary, this place. I'd never seen anything like it. It was,
Off the charts.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all the artwork and stuff that was when you walked in. And I mean, I didn't really know much about it, but it was extraordinary.
Wow, that's insane.
And when I think back, again, we went to this very nice restaurant in Puerto Banús, but the section we were in at the back, there was nobody else there. And when I now go back to Puerto Banús and I look at these restaurants, it's just not like that. No. So they must have cleared that section of the restaurant for these people. I mean, I don't want to talk about what they did.
And we're talking cartel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the life I was involved in.
Wowzer.
But it was normal to me.
I was going to say, it was just...
it was all legal, don't get me wrong. There were clients.
How interesting, though. Like, what an amazing kind of opportunity to be involved in that world, exposed, and sit here today to tell the tale.
It was remarkable, it was fantastic cars and holidays and things. It was remarkable. And I suppose that made a big difference to giving me confidence as well, and places we did and things we did. And then when I was in my late 30s, that was the relationship. We were totally different people towards the end. And I think we probably stayed together longer than we should have done because it was comfortable. And it was certainly comfortable for me. It was a beautiful holiday home up in the lakes and things. And it was hard for me to walk away and leave that, but I did. And I packed up and rented a room in a friend's house who had recently got divorced in the south side of Manchester. And so I had a ready-made social life, which was brilliant because I'd known her for a few years. And then I met quite quickly my current partner, and that was about 25 years ago now.
Wow.
Roger. He's an accountant by trade. He's an IT consultant by career now, in recent jobs, and a frustrated farmer as well. All his mates, a lot of his mates are farmers, and so that's a lovely side of life that I see.
What a nice mix.
Yeah, and he's very, very handy because, if we want to have a new kitchen or a bathroom, I sort of go out and choose it, and he gets on. He does a lot of things.
Wow.
He does a lot of. There was we'd got the planning through for an orangery that we wanted. We'd talked about turning the garage, knocking it down, and plans we'd talked about for years. And it was all the builders were all lined up, all ready to go, and COVID hit, so they just disappeared over the horizon, never to be seen again. So he did it.
Wow.
Worked with the planners. It's all legal, don't get me wrong. But he built it, and I was astounded.
Wow.
He built it.
That's incredible.
I know. We had to have plasterers in.
Yeah, but still, it's quite impressive, isn't it?
For certain specialist things, but because he worked for BAE in the early days, and so he's an aeronautical
engineer,
electrical engineer as well. So he's got a lot of skill.
Yeah.
It's really handy, actually. I've always said if I could clone him, I could make a fortune.
Love that. He has his uses. Now, you did say that you might want to go to see folks because you'd got a green card. Why didn't you actually go? What stopped you from saying, "Fuck it, I'm going"?
Yeah, I think promotion.
Really?
That was the point where I joined this company as a marketing manager, which I loved. It was great fun. And then they had a bit of a restructure, and we got a new boss in. She was amazing, very driven woman. And I'd been on a few sales meetings with her, and she said, "You'd be very good at sales. I'd like you to move over." Okay. And I wasn't sure because, you see, the insecurity in me then bobbed its head up. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I could do that. I was clients and I'd, all targets. Marketing, you've got your budget, you've got your framework, and you just get on with it. Yeah. Whereas sales, you go for a sales meeting and you'd walk back through the office and you'd come in and the secretaries would say, "Oh, did you get any business?" Because their jobs depend on it. Absolutely. Then you walk down the corridor and the consultants who usually work for themselves, a lot of them, and subcontracted to us, they would come and see you, knock on your door.
That's some pressure.
Did you, how did you get on? Any sign of any business?
God, how awkward.
The weight of it, because everybody's dependent on you. And I saw that, but she talked me into it. She was, as I say, a very driven, capable person.
Right. You obviously did a great job.
And, well, you see, you just think that what you're doing is what you're doing, and you don't. I don't know. In those days, I didn't stop to measure myself against other people. No, I just did my best job.
Absolutely.
I suppose there was a little bit of me inside that always felt, oh, was that good enough? But I remember if I had some really big presentations to do, I used to take calms the night before and in the morning just to keep it all calm. And I didn't find it easy.
No, but I think that's normal. That's everybody.
So that's the point where I was promoted. They said, "Oh, you can choose your car. You can have a new car. You don't have to run your car anymore." Yeah. So I chose this nice BMW. I chose the colour. It arrived on the transporter, and they said, "Oh, your transporter's downstairs." I went rushing down. They took it off, and I came down, and there was my shiny new car. And I thought, I can't leave all this.
I don't blame you.
So I didn't go.
And it was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
My dad was a little disappointed at the time because he built the wardrobes for me in the spare room. I remember that. Mum kept going on about, "Your father's built your wardrobes."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. But it was that was their thing. And they came to you and said, "Shall we?" And you said no. And that was your thing. And do you have any regrets?
Not regrets, no. But sometimes, it's funny, isn't it? You go through your life and you turn left. If you'd have turned right, what would you have done? Yeah. Sliding doors, exactly. And I do think, if I'd have gone, where would I be now? Would I have stayed out there? Would I have met somebody? Would we have married? Would I have had a family? Yeah. Because I was very, I suppose, one thing about me that I know is a bit odd is that I have never, ever, ever wanted children. That maternal instinct that women have in them, I don't have. And I don't know why. I've not deliberately chased it out of me. I can honestly say there isn't one day that I've woken up in my entire life and thought I wanted children.
I don't blame
and
you.
When I hit my late 30s and early 40s, I thought I'd go through a bit of a trauma.
Yeah.
Like, this is your chance, Kerris. If you don't do it now, I just never wanted them.
And that's fair.
But some people look at you like you're a Martian.
That is very true.
But I do say to people, because if I meet somebody, it's your party or you're just chatting or networking, you're very quickly asked, perhaps not so much now, but maybe 10 or 15 years ago, do you have children? Yeah. I always say, no, I didn't want any, because I don't want to put a woman in a position where I say no and then she thinks, oh God, I've really put my foot in it. And visualising all the trying.
Absolutely.
And then somebody in front of you that's got children is saying, oh, did you have any? I don't want to put somebody through that.
No,
so I quickly say, no, I didn't want any. But at that point, they look at you like,
you've got 3 heads.
Well, what's the purpose of your life? Where are you going? What do you do? Well, it is like that for some people.
It is. That is so true.
But it's interesting because most of my friends don't have children.
Oh, really?
A lot of my friends I've met through horses over the years. Yeah. Different walks of life, different disciplines, horses. And it's amazing how many horsey women don't have kids.
Wow.
I think partly because you can't afford both.
Yeah, if you're going to get a horse.
You know.
Do you know, that's really weird, because I can imagine now, actually, a lot of my horse lover friends don't have children.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then. Not just me.
No.
Yeah.
There's a few that do, but yeah.
Because I moved at one point to a livery yard over in Oxford Way. It was a beautiful yard, and it was full of women like me, my similar age, similar jobs, with our horses, and only one of them had children.
Wow, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a big thing. I mean, having grown up then, or having made this choice, and obviously I think the way that your life's taken its turns and your parents went, I mean, you never know, if they hadn't gone, you might have had this yearning with them and things like that. You don't know. But having gone through that and having gone through all these sort of different chapters in your life, you have developed this, you've had no choice but develop this sort of, I don't really like that statement, no choice, because everything's a choice. But you had to develop this sort of sense of identity, sense of self very quickly, and self-reliance, because it was just you and Rick. He obviously went off. You'd obviously met this chapo. You then went, did you feel, and you joked about you being orphaned, did you feel that you did need to you were doing it alone? I know you were able to go and visit your mum and dad, but do you think that you need proximity to feel that like closeness? Do you not? Did you still feel that sort of level of close? And did you develop a stronger sort of, compass, self-worth, for North Star because of that?
It's good. Nobody's ever really asked me that question. That's interesting. I mean, I don't think I would have thrived had I have not had a man in my life.
Got you.
I think that was very important to me.
Got you.
I'm not a fiercely independent. I have friends that have lived a large part of their lives where they've never really settled down with somebody for various reasons. And they've been quite happy with it. And that wouldn't be me.
No.
I think having a man in my life has been a big part of what makes me tick. And I mean, I suppose when I look back, although I've had some tough times and I've had to fight for what I want, or I've had some disappointing times, we all have ups and downs in our lives, don't we? When I look back, it's been a good life and a varied life. And I've been happy for most of my life. Yeah. And now I do realise how fortunate I am, because I come across so many people that have various levels of unhappiness for various different reasons. And I don't have that. I am genuinely, I wake up some mornings and I just feel happy. It's tick box in my life. Yes, you can always have more of this or more of that, but I don't feel I need that, because that doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, there you go. You've said it. I think that's extremely true, and that has kept you young inside and out. And I think that so many people become very entrenched, or they lose the ability to choose. It sounds like your life's navigated this real sort of, you've made your own choices, haven't you?
And I think as I've got older,
you've paved your own way, and nobody's been like dominating you to make decisions.
No, I care less about what people think of me, and I don't mean that in a callous or argumentative way. I mean that I am comfortable in my own skin. Yeah. Whatever you choose to do, some people are going to disagree with and think badly of you, and other people will think, great, good for you. So you're best to do it for yourself, I think. Absolutely. And I do see it more now, and I do feel that social media has ramped it up. There is a huge movement out there in different people from different walks of life, different ages, in this, well, the old-fashioned term or phrase would be sort of a bit of a keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, totally. I don't know what the new phrase would be now.
I still use that now.
I do feel a lot of people live their life through social media and do things,
100%,
acquire things, because they feel it's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite sad.
Yeah.
And I think if you get trapped and wrapped up in all of that, it's very difficult to get off that hamster wheel.
That is very true.
And I don't care now.
Well, that's I bet the best place to be.
I don't want to drive a big fancy car, the most expensive thing I can afford. I'm happy not having a flash car.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my money on, say, horses or going out and having more money to spend, to have the freedom and drive a more modest car. Whereas lots of people would not choose that. I know that's probably a very basic example, but that's just one that springs to mind as we're chatting here now.
Well, I think that's a really like insightful view, and I think that's what lots of you've never had to sort of use anything or replace anything to validate yourself or to make yourself feel good. Lots of people like are driven to wanting to feel good by either addiction or by serial dating or by whatever it might be, keeping themselves validated, the best job or the best or competing. It doesn't sound like your lives, you've never had to do that.
No.
And I think having children's probably been allowed you to, not having children allowed you to do that. And with that, can I just say, if you are listening, Kerris looks incredible. She doesn't look anywhere near her age. If you're watching, you'll know exactly what I mean, because you'll see her. She looks unbelievable. But with that, you look like you feel and like you represent. Like,
Well, that's good to know.
You do. You're like everything that you are, polished, you're funny, you're relaxed, you go with the flow. You might not have been before, but now you've got to an age where you a bit more live and let live, and you don't have to keep up with the Joneses, like you say, which I love. I think that's the holy grail of most people. They're trying to get to that. And when you're your 20s, 30s, 40s, all these things change. I was 46 on Monday or last Monday. And
Happy birthday for last Monday.
Thank you, darling. But like the acquiesce comes in, that like, I'm not bothered anymore. With each birthday comes.
Well, do you not feel that as you progress through age, you're very visual because you are the future.
True.
When you're a young person, everybody wants a bit of you in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And as you go through life, you can't become more and more invisible.
Yes.
And that's probably a bit of a blunt tool to describe it. But I feel, now I can walk around now and I feel much more invisible. People aren't looking at me. And I love that.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I do. Yeah.
Totally get that. Totally get it. And I've heard, you're not the first person to have said it to me.
Really?
No. I think it's a very common feeling for lots of women as they get older, because I think from social media to fashion adverts to magazines, the representation is the age group of 20s and 30s.
Yes.
Having fun on a beach, on a flight, this is who represents the world.
Yes, it's funny. Do you know?
Weird.
Only a few years ago, the penny dropped, and I thought, when you're young, you see pictures, you're represented all the time around you.
Absolutely. And
suddenly I thought, I'm not in that group anymore. But there isn't anybody my age being represented out
100%.
there. Unless it's, for something that's clearly your age group.
Absolutely.
And then I only thought about that a few years ago. It's funny you should say that now, isn't it? Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Yes.
But so in terms of that then, because we are not being represented, or we are now out of that sort of represented.
No, I am. You're not there yet.
I
Come
don't know,
on.
even though I don't think I look my age all the time. I mean,
No,
I feel
don't,
our body says, but I'm realizing I'm 46 now. So that is not just 25 anymore.
Yeah, but Kelly, you do look about, I don't know what, 30.
And thank you.
You do look incredibly young for your age.
I do look young for my age. I know
you
that.
must know you do.
I do know that I look young, but I don't. That's not what my eyes see.
And to a degree, I've just thought that might have gone against you in your career, because I remember the first time you popped out at Aspire, I remember thinking, oh, bloody hell, she looks young. I hope she's qualified.
I used to get that all the time.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So I used to just have to fight to say,
But I think that all the time now. Rog says to me, a doctor or a dentist or somebody on TV and I say, he just looks like he's come out of school. And Roger will say, Kerris, he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
He's just you.
Yeah. Well, even now though, if the teachers at school, I'm like, she looks about 12. Is she teaching my son? Wow. They look really young. So, I totally get that. Do you think that you started having treatment for you? Did you do it for other people? Did you do what was that for?
Well, I think when I very first had a bit of a tweak, I was 50. And I think that's a bit of a milestone for women.
Massive.
And I kept looking at photos when we were on holiday or whatever, just snaps and things. And all I could see were these hideous frown. And you're laughing because you remember them. I had the strongest frown muscles here. And when I was a kid, people used to make comments about my frowning. So I must have always had these strong muscles. I just thought I need to get rid of those because it was becoming more prevalent.
Absolutely.
For people to have accessible, that's the word. Yes. It was much more accessible to have things done. And so I started having tweaks.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Do you think you'll always have tweaks?
Good question. I don't know. I might wake up one morning and think, oh, where's the point? You reached your sell-by date. Just relax and spend your money on something else.
More horses.
I don't know. But it's a way away, let me just tell you.
What age do you think the oldest person that I've ever treated was? I don't know if I've ever told you, but...
You're probably going to tell me someone in their 80s, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. I mean, there are some remarkable women out there.
Yes, absolutely.
The thing is, some women have more than tweaks. I mean, you see them on TV. Some celebrities, they've had work done. And I don't know whether it's the shape of their skull or they look amazing and they've had just the right work done in just the right places. Yeah. They've had work done because they couldn't possibly look like that if they hadn't. Yeah. And they look amazing. Yeah. And then there's others that and I think the example, bless her, she's no longer with us, the one that we all bring to mind, you know who I'm going to say, Joan Rivers. Yeah. Poor woman, I don't know what she was thinking or who was driving her or whether it was just her, but her face was so stretched at the end. She had a job to speak. Yeah. And it looked weird.
I mean, she was hilarious.
And she died as a result of it, didn't she?
Yeah,
that's right. My reckoning, my recollection.
It was horrendous. And again, there's been lots of representations like that in the media and there's been standout people like Leslie Ash, unfortunately, with the lip filler, that became synonymous with the industry at one point. And she was stunning and she still is, a good looking girl, but I think having been in the public eye so heavily and then to have been at the forefront of this sort of treatment and have such
also
negative press
facing the
around
criticisms that she must have faced.
That's right.
Because lots of people will have looked at her and thought, why on earth did you need to have anything done?
Absolutely. Judgment.
Yeah.
Immediately. And that's why I like the little tweaks that you talk about, because you've made it your business to have something very, very minimal but still just keep looking great for you. Because when you look in the mirror, you want to look great for you. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always dressed quite conservatively. I think that stems from when I was young, I was inspected by my parents as I came downstairs and I said, bye. No, you come in, we want to see what you're wearing. And they were very strict with me. Wow. Nothing low cut, nothing short. And I think when you've grown up with that, now, to this day, I still don't feel comfortable in low-cut tops and short skirts. Wow. Not that I would wear them now, but I just never wore them. You will never, unless I'm on holiday. Yes. You will never find a photo of me in a short skirt. Yeah. Once I probably hit 30.
Yeah, I get you.
Which I know now is very, very different. Yeah. Things have changed.
Yeah, but still,
it's just how I feel.
Of course, I get that. There's a real side of it where if you're going to get your legs out, you keep your boobs in. If you don't get it all out, do you? Because there's a connotation of that.
Yes, my mum always said to me, Don't put all your wares in the shop window, lovey, she said. You see, keep some back.
In the shop window.
Good old mum.
Good advice there, mum. Well, you know what I think of you. I think you are the most hilarious, balanced, funny, intelligent woman, and I love going out and having a drink and having dinner with you. I think you are great company. And
we only have one though, don't we, Kelly?
Oh yes.
Only one drink.
Just
That's
one.
a drink.
A Prosecco.
Yes.
Which we love.
Let's make that clear.
Exactly. Anybody listening? But I just wanted the world to hear you and hear your story because you are wonderful.
Well, thank you for asking me. And I have to say,
have you enjoyed it?
I'm just so glad that you joined the Spire when you did, because I would never have met you. I mean, obviously, when I started having treatment, you go to where you think is safe.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to the Spire, because I thought nobody is going to work at the Spire that doesn't know what they're doing.
Not good.
And when you said you were branching out, and it was so close to where I live, I just thought, wow, heaven sent.
Amazing.
And I do feel totally relaxed when I come to you for treatment now, because we've built up such a trust, and I know that you only do and recommend things that are right for me and my mindset.
Yeah.
I feel totally comfortable. Even if you've got a new product, you say, we've got this, I feel comfortable because of that trust.
Oh, I'm so
And I
pleased.
am well aware that there's lots of people in your business that A, don't have the experience, and B, the honesty to say, don't have that, have this.
I'm so pleased.
And I think a lot of people that you look after here will feel the same.
Oh, I'm so pleased that you said that. And this, I can't wait to tell you about some exciting news about being able to shape the future of aesthetics. I'll tell you when we've finished recording, because I don't know when it's going to go out live, but I can't wait to tell you, because I think you'll be as chuffed as I am about it.
Oh, good. I can tell by your face, actually.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for asking me.
I hope you've
and
enjoyed
as
it.
you said before we started, it's just a flowy chat, isn't it?
It's easier than you think.
Yeah, and the time's whizzed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Again, I always tell people that we need a part 2, 100%. We always do need a part 2, because we've got so much to unpack, so much to say.
I couldn't live that life again, Kelly. Sorry, I can't go through that again.
Well, you said you got loads to talk about, so I'm sure there's more in the backpack. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll keep the dialogue going in the clinic room.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kerris, everybody. Woo! That's it for today's Barefaced Chat. Thank you so much for listening. If you've loved this conversation, make sure you follow, rate, and share. It really helps more people find us and join the conversation. I'll be back next week with another honest, unfiltered chat. Because skin isn't just skin. It's your story, and I'm here for it.